Buenos días, good morning. Aquí estamos en horas de oficina o asesorías de nuestro curso open abierto de aula invertido. So this is the Friday afternoon or Friday morning. Switching to Spanish and English messes me up. Friday morning office hours session. So I don't have any requests for today. Just going to grab my coffee. I'm back. That's good. Okay, so there's no request for office hour information today. So a couple things. Remember, we're on the third pillar of flipped learning, which is intentional content, or in contenido intencional. It's been a very busy week. I posted the content. We've had some people already put submissions in, their videos, their blog posts. I went to visit Irapuato, Campus Irapuato de Tecnología de Monterrey on Tuesday afternoon and had an interesting session with some colleagues there that were taking a similar course to this, led by Jorge Rebollo from the campus, who did a course with me last summer, which was very similar to this one, but we ran that inside Schoology. Jorge is doing it on, I think he's pretty well doing it all on our Facebook group, which is interesting as well. So we had about a 2.5 hour session there. It was interesting. Mostly question and answers. I wanted it to be that style because I didn't see there was much point in teaching, especially since I'm trying to get them to know flipped learning. So we had that 2.5 hour session. That was great. Met a bunch of people, and then another short 1.5 hour session, my classic intro to flipped learning that I give. I'll share some resources here, and I'll share you the slide deck that I use for that, as well as some other sessions similar to it. So since there's no other requests for this week, I'll just go through and show you some resources. Actually, next Friday is Digital Learning Day, and you can check out on the Flipped Learning Network that teachers are offering to open their classrooms to show people what their flipped classroom looks like. I'll show you that link. I just literally minutes ago posted my blog post about this. I linked it on Twitter, and I'm about to link it on Facebook and other mediums as well, to try to promote, to see what to do there. My plan is to let people in my classroom Friday afternoon, 2:30 to 4 p.m. here in Guadalajara, if you can come down. If I can, I'll set up a recording setup so we can record that day. In general, it's not that exciting to see what's going on. I sure wish I had some Google Glasses, because then I could walk around the classroom and record what I'm actually seeing, or put it on a student, and then we can record what they're seeing. But alas, no Google Glass for me. So we'll see what we do about recording that, but you're definitely invited if you can come down to Campus Guadalajara, 2:30 p.m. You need to make sure you've arranged that before, so contact me if you plan on doing this, and we'll arrange that the security people let you in the gate. You'll need to go through the visitor's entrance, I believe, and then go find my classroom, which will be in 1402, which is building 1, 4th floor, second. Actually, it's the first room. There's an office area, which is 1, and then 2 is the first classroom. It's a computer classroom. So I'll have there's about 22 students there. They're all going to be working on different things. You can check the blog post actually for all the details. And then my plan right now is to give my classic intro to flipped learning 1 hour session just after that at 4 p.m. I don't have a location and haven't asked anyone. Well, actually, I asked. I don't have a reply yet about space for it. So I'll update that as it comes through. So let's see. Let me do a screen share here. Let me put up the tools. So I'm going to show you tools. So I'm actually using Google Hangouts on air here. And maybe I'll even show you how to use that. Right now, what I want to do is I want to go into what's called the Hangout Toolbox, which brings up my lower third. And I'm going to bring this just to relax. I'm going to flip around here in a second. Hold on. There we go. For some reason, it does that. To implement the lower third, it has to flip the video. So there, what happens is the lower third allows me to put a picture and then content in that lower third, so that people watching this video can go, oh, I'd like to talk to that guy, or I'd like to heckle him or something, and they can find out where I am. That's my Twitter handle. I tend to leave there on my lower third in my affiliation with the Tec de Monterrey. I need to update that photo though. That's the 2013 photo. It's not the 2014 one. And I need to get my colleague Yolanda across the hall to help me update my photo for 2014, and you can see there's more gray hair. So that's the toolbox in Google Hangouts. So why don't I go through and give you a little tour of a few things here. So I'm going to screen share, so you don't have to look at me and my Scott Johnson photo drawing behind me. So in Google Hangouts lets me share my screen. And so what I need to do is I need to tell it what page or what application to share. So I'm sharing my Firefox. So here we can see this is the Google Hangout session, and this is how we create events for Google Hangouts. And the trick is just go to your plus.google.com. I'm kind of an old school guy, so I just type the entire URL and remember these. But if you go to plus, you can see there's a Hangouts menu down here. So go to the Hangouts. And there's two types of Hangouts. There's Hangouts on Air, and then there's these video Hangouts. So this is what I'm doing is Hangouts on Air. And the difference is really that Hangouts on Air get recorded automatically, and they're placed live on YouTube. And when you're finished with them, they get put onto YouTube. Good. I was just checking we were actually recording, because that's happened to me before. So what you do to start a Hangout on Air is you just click the Start Hangout on Air button. And a couple tips. I gave this to a session for the SETI on Campus Guadalajara here on Friday, but I'll give you the quick tips. So you give it a title, you give it a description, and then you can either just start it now or start it later. So generally I start it later, and I'm going to say, well, let's do a Hangout on March 9th at 7 p.m. and we'll say it lasts for an hour. It doesn't really matter how much you put there. It's just to give an idea to people. It's informational. So the people that see your Hangout can see that, oh, it's going to last an hour. That fits in my schedule. Now, your audience has two things: who can see it and who's going to get an email or some type of alert to be invited to it. Now, my default when I publish to Google Plus in the kind of the instant or the social media view of Google Plus is I send everything to public and everyone in my circles. So when you create a Hangout, don't send it to everyone in your circles. Okay. I have the benefit that I have a ridiculous number of people in my circles, so it won't let me alert everyone. It'll say there's too many. But if you don't have that many, you're going to spam everybody that's following you or that you're following. So you don't want to do that. You probably want to leave it public so that anyone can see it. But if you don't want it public and you want it to a specific group of people, you could say, let's say I'll put it into the flipped PD. Do I have one? Well, that's the one I had from last summer. So I have a circle of all the people that were in the summer course. I don't have one for this course because we haven't been using Google Plus as much. So if I did that, right, and I hit this invite button now, down here, the share button, it's going to hit them up with all sorts of messages in their email box. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to change it back to public. And then I hit this share button. Okay, and so that's now publicly visible on the internet. Someone could find this URL or search through it and find it. I'm going to delete it here in a bit so people don't actually think this is real. There's a bunch of little things you can change here. You can edit your event and make some changes to settings. You can change the theme to make it, prettier, whatever you want to put. Change your title and the description. So I'm going to save that. A few other tricks. You can share information about your event. There's the event page that links to this page we're viewing. There's a YouTube page which will show that the event should right now say that this is in the future. It's not available yet. Please stand by. This is going to happen in 3 days, 10 hours, 14 minutes, and 18 seconds. So we don't want to do that. Let's go back here. And then if you run a website or a blog or something, you could embed that YouTube video, the live video or the recorded video with this code fragment. All right. So other things you can change, you can make comments, you can invite people specifically. Usually I set it public and then I'll invite people that I know that are going to be on this chat. You can start it. You can create a trailer or select a trailer. So if you're doing some larger event and you want to create a trailer explaining the event, I've done that a couple times. You can choose a YouTube video that you already have or upload one. Question and answers lets you have a side channel so people that are watching it can ask questions, and you can monitor what questions have come in and give answers over the video feed. I highly recommend, if you're going to have a large setup for question and answers, get someone to monitor and control the question and answer so you're not too distracted. The Showcase app, I have no idea how that does. The applause feature you might want to turn on or off, because that lets people just hit the applause button and then it makes noise. So depending on whether you think that's fun, useful, or not fun, just get rid of it or keep it. Okay, so I'm going to actually go in and delete this event. And so I'll click down here. You can make some changes here, but I'm going to delete this event. Oh, I just noticed there was a duplicate event there, which is really handy. I keep making them from scratch, but on my past events, I should probably look at them and then duplicate them, because every week I have events that are very similar. So that's it for Google Hangouts on Air. They're really useful. What happens at the end, the other tricks is you need to make sure when you start the event, it'll come up. You can invite people. You're in the video. You set your video settings and your audio settings. I'm using an external webcam here and a Snowball microphone to have a little bit better sound. I should actually check my Snowball. It can do 3 settings on it, and one's directional only. The other one gets all the ambience. Let's see. Yeah, so when you start it up, it'll just look like you're recording, but you're not. There's a start broadcast button. You got to remember to hit that start broadcast button, because if you don't, you're going to do an hour video and you're going to forget to record it. So once you're done, you should make sure your sound levels are working and everything. And then once you're done, you hit the stop broadcast button, and then it'll post-process it so it's available on YouTube and all sorts of resolutions and video density. Once you hit the stop broadcast, of course, you'll still be connected, and even to the people that are talking to you. So you can kind of do the after hours session of, we're not recording anymore. We can say all sorts of silly things. So that's pretty well it for Google Hangouts. There's a bunch of other stuff. You can play around. What do they call it? I find that my colleagues love this part. It's the effects. So you can, what's it called? Google Effects, and you can put crowns on people or horns on people or beards on people. I don't need one because I already got one. There's all sorts of fun you can have with Google Hangouts on there. So play around with it, try it out. Schedule a Hangout with me or schedule a Hangout with someone else. So that's it for Google Hangouts. I'm going to go over here to my blog. So if you go to blog.kenbauer.me, that's my personal blog. I think it's linked somewhere on our course site, but this is my blog. You won't normally see this black bar here because that's because I'm logged in and I control this blog. I control the layout of this blog, and I haven't been blogging too much lately, but I'll show you this latest post that I just released this morning before we got live on air. And it's visit my flipped classroom, Digital Learning Day 2015. I'm pointing to everything that I'm talking about on that day. I hope to do a session after at 4 p.m. About the flipped learning. So I got to arrange the room, so I'll need to publish that. But if you are interested and you're on campus, the direct sign-up form is right there at the top, and you can read all the other details. And it's just going to be a regular class. I don't think I'm going to do anything different other than you can come to my class. You can see what I do. You can talk to my students. I'll let them know that this is going to happen. I'll let them know that it's entirely possible that nobody shows up. We'll see how that goes, and I invite you to come and check that out. That's not actually my classroom in that photo. That's just a stock photo of our colorful chairs at the Tec de Monterrey. And that should be fun. So we'll see how that goes. I'll update more details as we go along. I use WordPress.com. I have an extra, the pro version of WordPress.com, so I got some extra features. But the way I'm using WordPress is pretty well the way you would use WordPress if you have your blog on WordPress.com. Because I'm logged in, I can see this black bar. I can see statistics and all sorts of stuff. I can edit this blog post. I'll hit the edit button just for fun here. It goes beep, beep, beep. This is the new style editor, by the way. So this shows me all the information. I can see what's going on with my tags and categories. I can change this to be a draft. Tags and categories are, you usually have a limited number of categories on your blog where you want to put it into. I have, let's see what I've got. I have food. I write about food once in a while. General health, leadership, open flip. I write a bunch of sometimes about paleo because I follow a paleo protocol in my diet and lifestyle. Research, security, tools, and tributes. And then, so you kind of don't want to have too many categories. And then tags could just be any kind of keyword. So I got a bunch of keywords I throw in. So I put flip class and teaching as the keywords for this post, and I put it in the teaching category. You can have a featured image, and what this does is it controls that image that's across the top. And it's also when there's a listing of your postings and there's an image beside it, that's the one that's going to be chosen to show. So if you have multiple images, and I do have multiple images on this blog post, I just recycled 2, and then I grabbed a third one because I've got not a colleague. I don't know Alan, but I've been following Alan's work over the last 6 months or so, and he does awesome work. And I also follow him on Flickr. So let me bring up his Flickr page here. Bring up Flickr. I'm logged into Flickr currently. Remove the advertising here. I don't want to see the advertising. I was trying to remove it. And I just noticed this photo that Alan took and posted on Flickr. So I thought this is kind of a curious photo, and I decided to put it beside my keyword of curious. Go figure. You can see my dad's posting there, so I'll disconnect here in a second. Let's see. So I chose that as my featured image. There's a sharing thing, so you can actually connect your Facebook, Twitter, and other services, and then have it so when you blog or when you post to your blog, it automatically sends it out to those places. I choose to not do that, and then hand control when I send out, manually control when I send stuff out to my social media. You can say where you are and your location. Excerpt's a good idea. If it's an excerpt will generally be created automatically for you when you post, and Google comes and crawls your site and sees it. So an excerpt just means that you can hand control what shows up in that kind of text underneath the Google stuff. There's some advanced settings as well. So I'm going to push the stop screen sharing button here for a second because my ad's trying to get a hold of me on the other page. Good morning. Busy recording. All right. Okay. Never tell your dad to go away, but I don't want, everyone to see what I'm typing there, so I stopped screen sharing. So that's WordPress is one of the tools I use. I haven't been blogging enough lately. I really should blog more. I'm really spending more time preaching other people to blog, but I really should be sharing more about what I'm doing. And so bad Ken for not sharing so much. It's not in my priority list of 2015. That was actually my priority list for 2014. My priorities are a couple things, and maybe I'll blog about that soon. I should have blogged about it in January. So let's see what else we got here. In 10 minutes, I'll tell them. I'll probably wrap this up in about 10 minutes. All right, so let's go back to, and what I should really do there is I should sign out of Hangouts there, and then that'll go away and I won't get disturbed. Video recording tip: sign out of all your social media stuff that creates alerts while you're doing stuff. I didn't do that, didn't follow my own advice. So let's go back to sharing, and let's share that Firefox window. Okay, I'm going to actually I'll just close that. Okay, what else do I want to show you for tools? There's a whole bunch of tools I use on a daily basis. I love Flickr. I have a Flickr account. I don't share a lot yet on Flickr. I want to start sharing more. I want to start taking more photos and sharing my photos. But I like Flickr because it allows me to find great things, or photos for my blog. So let's do a search. So let's say maybe I won't search on curious. I'll search on teaching. Let's pretend we want something about teaching in our blog. So let's do a search on teaching. Now, they've improved this a little bit. You can say, let's sort by relevance. Let's search everyone photos, and let's search only Creative Commons. And now it'll reload. That's good. So we could take a look and see which things we could use. Maybe we want to use this one, teaching controversial issues. Let's click into there. Now, here's the thing. You want to take a look at a few things. You want to take a look, okay, what's the rights on these? Can I use this as a blog image? So I'm going to open this up in a new window. What rights are they using on there? So they're using a attribution non-commercial share-alike license. So this means, and this is one of the various licenses on Creative Commons, means as long as you give attribution and it's not a commercial post, you can share it. And the share alike means that you must have the same license on the content that you're using. So it gets a little sticky with blog posts here. It depends if you're showing licensing on the bottom of your blog post entries. But technically, you need to make sure that you are, if you remix, transform, or build upon the material, you must redistribute your contents under the same license as the original. So if you go and modify this image and mix it up or something like that, you need to release your modified image under that same license. It's a little bit complicated, but that's good enough for my purposes. So what I would do if I wanted to share this is I'd hit this download button. And I tend to just grab the largest one because megabytes are cheap. And I'll grab this largest version. And so that's what I'll do. I'm going to download this because that's a pretty cool photo. I like it. Now, a couple things you want to do. Let's see. I like to make sure that I have this saved. Okay, let's create a new blog post just for fun. See if I can quickly do this. So I'm going to create a new blog post. I'll just set it up as a draft post so I don't have to publish it on my blog right now. So let's wait for WordPress to do its whirring and whirring. Go internet, go. Oh, there it goes. All right. So here we go. New blog post. Beep, beep, boop. All right, go. So this is a teaching post. I'm just going to put some text here. Yeah, let's just copy paste some text from somewhere. I'm not actually going to publish this, so I just want some text. So, okay. Here's my hints on WordPress blog posting. Make sure you have a section title in each section of your post. And you can see this on my posts. And I tend to use heading 2s as opposed to heading 1s just because of the size, and then create paragraph text in here. And then let's say I want to use that image here. So I'll put the cursor where the image is. I'll hit the add media button. And then I can choose one that I already have, or I can upload a file. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to upload a file. I've got lots of space because I have the pro version of WordPress. That's one of the benefits of giving them money for the pro version. So it's going along and uploading it. Nice fast internet connection here at the tech. Now I noticed that the title just looks not so good. So this is where I already started copy pasting it. I'm going to copy that title and I'm going to reuse their title because it's their title, it's their photo. And here's the trick that I like to do on all my posts. There's a caption, which is the piece that goes under the photo usually, and then there's the alternative text. Alternative text is what appears when you hover over the photo with your mouse for those that can see fine with their eyes, but also a lot of people, to make it accessible, they'll be able to read that text, which should be descriptive about the photo. So I tend to use the alt text for that, but if you're not using a link or a credit or something, you should explain what the photo is in the alt text. And you might want to use the description as well. So here's my trick. I'll have to show this in a different post because this is way too long if I go into the details. But Alan Levine actually, that, and I need to ask him, is it Levine or is it Levine? Alan has a cool little tool. It's a little JavaScript function that if I'm looking at an image right now, I can hit his button I created, a link to this Flickr CC helper, and it creates this little kind of pop-up. It's great because I like to just select this attribution text, or I can grab the HTML. He provides it in both formats. Sweet. Alan does cool stuff and shares everything. And so I want to take that and I want to, where the heck was I? I was in the new post. There we go. I want to put that in the caption. I'm going to put that in the alt text. And then I'm going to insert it into the post. Do I want that on the left? Do I want it centered, right, or none? Do I want a link when they click on the photo? Do I want to go to the media file? which is a special page for that file that I've uploaded so they could grab the full version. I could link them to some other page or a custom URL. I could point them to this Flickr photo site if I wanted to. So there's that. And then I'll insert that in the post, and there it goes. Nifty. And we'll notice that it created the caption, and actually the alt text will be, if I hover over it, will show that. Right now it doesn't because I'm in editor view. And that's about it. Remember, if you're in WordPress, you can also hit this HTML button, which might scare you if you don't know how to hack HTML directly. But if you do, it's very useful. So I'll just leave that. You'll notice there's a Save Draft button here at the bottom. I'm going to hit the Save Draft button, and then that's saved. So I'll close this thing right now. And then what I can do is I'll just go back to my blog main page. And one quick other trip. If I go and look at my blog posts here, it'll give me all of my listings of all of my blog posts, including the now 10 drafts that I have waiting to go out. All right, so I'll leave that alone. I'm going to just quickly check Twitter here to see if anyone has made requests. No request. Adriana is asking about a Facebook group that she's created for professors at Tec de Monterrey or teachers at Tec de Monterrey. I'm going to promote that here in a bit. Actually, I'll just promote it right now since, you know, you've got my attention. Let me click there. She posted it to the open flip tag. You should be able to see this. So it's called Profes de Tec de Monterrey. Adriana created it. I'm not entirely clear what the goal is for the group. Creando comunidad entre profesores del sistema tecnológico para intercambiar buenas prácticas y experiencias. So you see how this goes. It's a great idea. You should always create groups. We'll see how it goes because there's already a whole bunch of other groups for Profes de Tec de Monterrey. But in my opinion, we're not using Facebook enough for communicating between professors at the Tech. And one topic I've gotten discussions with a lot of us in the Tech is we really need to push towards un solo Tech, which means just one Tech, not a bunch of fiefdoms or campuses and divisions and departments where we work together and don't share. We've got to find a way to communicate better. So this is one good way. So let's see how this goes. So I want to, if you want to jump in and join this group, and we'll see how this goes. So let me close that up. Remember, we have our Flip Learning Latin America group for just flip learning stuff. And this is an open group. The one that Adriana created is a closed group. I guess the intention is that it's only going to let people in that are profs at Tec de Monterrey. What else do I want to show you today? One other quick tool. I'm going to show you this one. So there is a site called youcanbook.me. And this is a great site that lets you coordinate between your Google Calendar, or I think it'll hook up with something else. I'm not sure. But I have it hooked up with my Google Calendar. So You Can Book Me, the site, knows when I'm available and when I'm busy. And I can also do a bunch of other settings so that my students can go in and reserve time to see me. And they know that I'm not that I am available or I'm not busy, and that they can find me in my office. If they just see that I'm not busy, I don't promise that I'll be in my office, because sometimes I'm somewhere else during the time that I'm not scheduled. So what the deal is the students can make an appointment with me, and what happens is that reservation gets sent to me, gets added to my calendar automatically, gets sent to my students with an email, and then it get added to their calendar as well. I'll show you what mine looks like. I created a kembauer.youcanbook.me. And so my students or my colleagues, I actually make my colleagues do this as well if they want to see me, make an appointment so I can schedule. Let's see, it loads up. I've customized it a little bit to put my image from my blog as well. It tells where I am. You can see my blog. There's even a video instruction of how to get to my office, which I need to update because that points to Yolanda's office because I just moved. Other things, we're already on Friday, so the other days aren't available, but anyone can make an appointment with me right now. They could just click here at 11:30, put in their email, their name, and I ask my students, I customize this form a little bit. I want to know why they're coming so I can be a little bit prepared. And then I let my students make 15-minute meetings or 30-minute meetings, anti-robot thing here, and then they can hit the confirm booking. And what'll happen is they'll receive an email, I'll receive an email, and it will actually reserve that slot on my calendar such that no other person can reserve that slot as well. This is a great tool. It really encourages my students to come and see me because they know if they make the trek to the 4th floor that I'll actually be here because they've made a reservation. I think that's all I'll do for today for wrap up of tools. So take a look at my blog. If you're on campus, come and check out my flipped classroom. If you can't make Friday the 13th, feel free to come at any other day, but we need to reserve it ahead of time. Let me know what's going to happen, because it's always possible that they don't let you in the door, or I'm just not there for some reason, maybe. Or we're in exam. It would be really boring if you showed up and watched my students take an exam. Or maybe it's interesting if you're interested in how I do my exams. So I'll wrap up that for today. Let me stop screen sharing here. So I'll wrap up that for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you actually are one of the 2 people that watch this later, and have an awesome day. Thanks. And I'll hit the stop broadcast button. It's right there at the bottom. Make sure you click it. If it says start broadcast right now, you screwed up and you're going to have to record everything again. But gladly, it says stop broadcast. So I'm going to hit that button, and have an awesome week. Be awesome.